Hey everyone, welcome to another Explorer and Pioneer video here on Magic Arena. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, I do appreciate the support. So today we are playing some Rakdos Prowess with new card Cori-Steel Cutter. So I do need to do a bit of a mea culpa when it comes to this card. When I did my top 10 best cards from the set, this did not feature on the list, and a couple of people probably correctly picked me up on it. And I said, it's kind of a worse bitter blossom. And yeah, I think, to be honest, my brain, when I read this card, basically short-circuited the fact that the monks it creates have prowess. I thought it just created 1/1 white monks and maybe attached the equipment to it. And I was kind of like, meh. But yeah, this card is doing great work in multiple formats. It is a very, very powerful card, and I probably should have recognised that at the time, but, you know, my apologies. So yes, we are running this card in a Rakdos Prowess shell, so this is a deck which, unsurprisingly, kind of has the mono-red aggro kind of package as its kind of primary game plan, and using a card like this, you're obviously casting multiple spells each turn, creatures, pump spells, whatever it may be, and you are creating, hopefully, a fair few number of monk tokens, which are also growing whenever you cast a non-creature spell. So yeah, an interesting addition, doing very well, as I say, in multiple formats, so we'll see how that does. Then, yeah, so that's the new card, and then the rest of the deck, as I say, you'll recognise quite a lot of these cards from sort of the mono-red aggro mice package. So we've got Heartfire Hero, we've got Commander Faces Kakazam, we've got a couple of Manifold Mouses, oh god, mice, and an Emberheart Challenger. So yeah, all of those kind of things. But we are also running Slickshot Show Off, just as a kind of big flying threat that can. Also, the plot mechanic allows the kind of double spell ability from Cori-Steel Cutter to be more easily kind of to more easily go off. So yeah, and then we've just got our usual pump spells, so 4 copies of Infuriate, and then obviously 4 Monstrous Rages. Very, very good. Monasteries for Spear kind of rounds out our creature package, along with Callous Sellsword. So this is the Wilds of Eldraine adventure creature that has Burn Together as a 1-mana red sorcery adventure. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any other target, then sacrifice it. Obviously, in a deck like this, what you're hoping to do is kind of grow Slickshot Show Off to be a 5/7 mana, 7 power creature rather, and then just sacrifice it and kind of do potentially 14, 16 damage in one turn. And we've got a couple of Reckless Rages as well, just for some additional removal that also triggers Prowess. We can kind of target our Prowess creatures, and they'll often be so big that the Reckless Rage doesn't kill them. Can target it with like a Heartfire hero, target a Heartfire hero that's big enough to survive as well, and that will trigger the Valiant effect. So yeah, that has some nice synergies in the deck. And then a couple of Claim to Fame as well. So claim 1 mana black sorcery, returning a creature with mana value 2 or less from our graveyards to the battlefield. In this deck, obviously, that just reanimates anything. And then the Fame as well as another additional pump spell that can give a creature haste. Bit later in the game, if it's going a bit longer, you can obviously cast both sides of this in the same turn and give the creature that you reanimated haste. So unsurprisingly, not a huge number of lands in a deck which kind of tops out at 2 mana at the top of its curve, but 13 dual lands, couple of mountains, couple of Den of the Bugbear just for some additional creatures, Ramanap Ruins punches through with a little bit of extra burn, and Soken as a token generator too. Then the sideboard, so unsurprisingly, we have got the kind of the black 1-mana spell package, so 4 copies of Fatal Push, 4 copies of Thoughtseize. We can bring those in as and when we need them. Red Cap Melee is generally for the red mirror matches. Another Claim to Fame, if we are so minded. Feed the Swarm, destroying a creature or enchantment an opponent controls, and then Urabrask's Forge is a good anti-control card. So yeah. That's the deck, Rakdos Prowess. It's an aggro deck, running the new Cori-Steel Cutter, which, as I say, is a card which is making waves in lots of different places. So let's see how it does in Explorer and Pioneer. And yeah, thank you for watching, and let's go on to the ladder. Boo to not being on the play. So if we draw a second land, this hand's actually It's a little... Actually, this hand isn't very good at all, to be honest. Let's ship it back. Okay, this is much better. So we'll put back our second commander faces Kakazan. Okay, the opponent may be on some sort of tokens deck. So we could potentially put down Emberheart Challenger as a 3/3. Ah, it's Convoke. Okay, we like that they didn't have a turn 2 5-drop. Yes, yeah, so it's a Convoke deck, so we'll attack with Emberheart. Okay, if that's all they're doing this turn, that's pretty good. Okay, well, isn't that interesting? So I think we are going maximum aggro here. So I could grow this with a Monstrous Rage, and it would trade and get through for 1 trample damage. This would grow. Yeah, I think that's fine to get rid of their Knight Errant. So they go down to 7. I think the Slick Shot Show-Off is going to be the one doing it for us here. This fortunately does not gain them any life. And a Bushwhacker. Okay, well our life total's fairly resilient. They are going to have to be careful with their attacks, and they're just not attacking at all. Okay, well that's pretty good news for us. Don't love not having a land there. So let's do this now so that we can get the trigger off it. I mean, we just drew another land. Actually, I didn't have anything, so I probably gave up a little prematurely there. So Red Cap Melee does do 4 damage, which is a good answer to like Loxodons and Knight Errants, but they are both white rather than red, and their red creatures generally aren't kind of good enough to justify. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do want Fatal Push. I think I will leave out the red caps for now, because we do have Reckless Rage to potentially do 4 damage. What don't I like here? Manifold Mouse is pretty good. I'm going to trim Swift Spears, I think, and 1 Infuriate. These Fatal Pushes are good, but we can't cast them. You know, I think this hand is actually good enough. So it's Battle of the Aggro decks here. Do really need a second land, though. Yep, this Warden is going to do good work. Would like to be able to push that next turn. Yep, thank you. Okay, so play Heartfire Hero, become a 2/2, and I'll pass the turn. Yeah, let's push that in response. Cool, okay, that's pretty good. So I don't have an immediate creature to follow up with, although I do get my... So we'll put one Monstrous Rage on this. Hit them for 5. Hold back with second Monstrous Rage, push, and Reckless Rage. Each creature choose... okay, they've only got 2 creatures, that's fine. To solve, attack with 3 or more creatures. Okay, that's not so much a problem. Okay, so... Monstrous Rage doesn't solve this, neither does Reckless Rage. No, they are just going to be able to kill this, I think. Yep, okay. Okay, Cori-Steel Cutter can't currently play. Can't currently activate, rather, but let's put it on the battlefield, because the opponent's not presenting a huge amount of damage at the moment. Okay, thought they were going to Gleeful Demolition that for a second. This is slightly awkward, isn't it? Because I can't... I can't trigger this without casting a Monstrous Rage on one of their creatures. So I think I'm just going to have to push one of their Inspectors so they can't activate, so they can't trigger the curse. Okay, drawing. You're fine. Yeah, I'm stuck with a whole load of cards I can't use in my hand, which is a problem. Creature? Okay, that is a creature. So we'll play Emberheart Challenger. So they're definitely presenting removal here, but I think I have to trigger the Steel Cutter. So let's see if they do have anything. Land is good. Okay, that's not terrible. So we hit them for 10. They go to 5. They still only have 2 creatures to attack with. Ooh, yeah, Curse is pretty good. Wow, they love their curses, don't they? That's a pretty aggressive attack, and I think we'll end up killing them here. Well, yeah, they are dead. Good game, opponents. Okay. Interesting game too, but we did win. Yeah, we're a little short of creatures there. I think probably maybe shouldn't have boarded out the Swift Spears, but we did get the slightly awkward turn where we couldn't activate the cutter, but we got around it in the end. This is a slightly slower hand than the last one, but not too bad, I don't think. Jump scare the opponent into thinking we're playing demons. so they are presenting a... What's this? This is a fatal push, so let's just plot one of our show-offs. They've definitely got one removal spell. As the question is, do they have more than one? Okay. And the answer is yes. So let's bring back our show off. So that is 2 fatal pushes out of their hand. I've got another Ember Heart. Okay. But on some level, you've got to respect it, haven't you? Just having that level of interaction. It is interesting how, like... Yeah, I probably should have cast this pre-combat phase, but I wasn't really sure what the opponent was doing, so... Yeah, 3 steps ahead as a card draw rather than a counter spell. They didn't have the mana to counter spell it, that's why. Well, I may as well, because I'm not doing anything else with my mana this turn. Yeah, on the whole, yeah, I should have pre-main combat, pre-combat main phased that, I think, just to get a bit more damage in. That's okay. So, a Swift Spear. Stick the Steel Cutter on it. Really need to start double spelling, but they've had a lot of interaction, to be fair. 3 fatal pushes, an edict. Fatal push number 4, of course. Okay, well, we'll Ember Heart. This is a land off the top of my library, I suppose. Fire off a Soken Zan. I think we do Infuriate here. They may well have a removal spell. Looks like they do. Just a negate. Okay, that's not as bad. We still hit them for 2. Okay, I like Slick Shot Show Off. I think so. I could plot it and kind of plan to double spell at a later point. I think that's fine. So we'll fire up the Steel Cutter. We'll plot the Show Off. And we'll say go. They do have their Hive active, so we won't. At least I think they do, yeah. Okay, Shark is a good answer to Slick Shot Show Off. All 4 fatal pushes. Of course, of course. Darn, I thought they were going to activate the Hive there and I was excited. Okay, here comes another stock up. Yep. So yeah, it's an interesting Dimir control list. I wonder if they're running any of the new dragons. There is a list flying around. Mainly in Pioneer, actually, with like Silumgar Scorn, which is not on Arena. One of the few remaining differences between the 2 formats. Okay, well, we'll Heartfire Hero. Follow it up with Show Off. Yes, okay. So, we are currently presenting... so if I move this to the Heartfire Hero, it grows, becomes a 3/3. They then have to block it, but if they block it, they die. Yeah. My god. I actually thought that through and it worked. Okay, so Thoughtseize in, Urabrask's Forge in, Reckless Rage out. What else do I want out in this matchup? Callous Sellsword, maybe a little on the slow side. Also, if they kill the creature that you try and target with it, that's just sad times. So yeah, we'll take those out. Trim one Infuriate as well. I think that'll be fine. So we're able to punch through all 4 of their fatal pushes there, which is a good sign for this deck, because obviously that is a very good interaction spell for a deck which runs as many 1 or 2 mana creatures as ours. This hand needs a little bit of work, but if we ever get to the point where we are double spelling, then we're in a pretty nice place to be. Obviously, we don't get anything off the second trigger of Command and Faces Kakuzan unless we draw a creature. Okay. Now this is an interesting one. I think I'm going to play the Swift Spear. And if they counter it, then so be it. Sure thing. Well, we do have another creature coming. see what they want to do about this Cori-Steel cutter. Yep, that's fine. So I can follow that up with a Thoughtseize. Ooh, Jace Reawakened. They can cast next turn. Shark Typhoon is pretty good. Trespasser. Trespasser I can probably punch through, but don't particularly want to. So exile. Okay, so they can't plot the Shark Typhoon. I'm just going to take the Trespasser, I think. It's life gain. It's an annoying creature to have to punch through. I think that's fine. We know at the moment that they don't have any counter spells either. Play cutter number 2. Hit our etchings with a Monstrous Rage. Attach. Send in the creatures. So I think there's a question here. Assuming they make a shark, do I want to Monstrous Rage now or hold it to potentially double spell on a later turn? I think I will hold it. Because just trading for one of our monks is not in itself that interesting. Yep. Not plotting is good. Okay, that's good. Let's go again. We get our Steel Cutter online. There's a question here of whether I want to take out Jace. I think I probably do before they get any more card advantage off of it.
No, I cannot falter here.
It did absorb 5 damage to the face, though, so that's not bad news for the opponent. Okay, let's play Heartfire Hero. We'll try and attach the Steel Cutter to it. I mean, the good thing about that is the equipment doesn't move when if the target dies. Okay, they still can't activate their Hall, which is good news. They do have some sort of spell. Well, I've got to assume it's not a Shark Typhoon. Okay, they go to 1. I'm going to hold this land. Okay, no spell. Okay, they're going to be digging here. They need a way to kill both of our creatures. Valky won't do it. Ah! I mean, that is risky as hell, given... Okay. Yeah. Fun. Don't think they were necessarily expecting to get out of that situation. What did we draw in the end? Two more Steel Cutters. That would have been fun. Show off. Yeah, I think we probably would have won from there. Okay. Yeah, this sounds okay on the draw. I don't love it. Ooh, the Iron Crag. So some sort of ramp deck. Okay, well, let's get Amberheart Challenger down. Start doing our thing. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is fine. So, I'll play Manifold Mouse. Give that double strike. Yeah, let's infuriate it now. Hit the opponent down to 6. And now we're presenting potentially lethal next turn. Okay, so let's fire off a command who faces Kakazan. We will give this double strike again. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll kill that. We'll grow it using Infuriate, make it 7 power, and then chuck it at the opponent's face. Cool. Okay, so the opponent's playing Gruul Ramp, so they may well be an Ugin deck, which is fun. So I think I want Red Cat Melee in. I'll probably feed the Swarm to get through things like Golos. What shall I take out? I'll take out Reckless Rage. And they probably don't... I wonder how much interaction they play. Let's take out Claim to Fame for now. And we'll come back to that. That's an issue. See how they sideboard first. Don't love this hand. Yep, this one's slightly better. Start with Kumano faces Kakazan. This is interesting. Do they have a removal spell? I think I'll just play Heartfire Hero. Follow it up with a Blood Crypt. No, they don't. Okay. Well, that's fine. Ooh, Matter Reshaper is fun. And we'll get Emberheart Challenger down. Yep. Fortunately, because of the etchings, that doesn't trigger. Okay, well that's pretty spicy. So if I grow, so I could play Emberheart, or I could just double Manifold Mouse. Yeah, I think let's do the Offspring thing. Doesn't really matter because we're not attacking this turn. Or are we? Are we going to attack? Yeah, do you know what? If you want to give me a card, I'm happy to take one. And another Thought Not Seer. Okay, well that's a problem. Maybe I should have waited with the Manifold Mouse. I don't know. I feel like we can be overly cautious here. And I didn't know they had another Thought Not Seer. Okay, let's get our Steel Cutter down. They know about the Blood Crypt, so... Pass the turn again. I'll wait with the Steel Cutter for now. Take this trade. What are they going to do with 6 mana? Nothing. Ooh, Kozilek's return's a spicy one. Okay. Yeah, I'm just drawing land at the moment, unfortunately. Oh dear, and now they can start copying Thought Not Seers. Okay, we'll go to game 3. I'm going to stick in a couple of fatal pushes for killing Thought Not Seer, with which we can do with if we trigger Revolt. I like what they're doing. I'm interested in kind of ramp decks which are playing into Ugin. Yeah, this is a good hand. So I could plot show off here, but I think... yeah, let's Heartfire Hero, make it a 2-2, follow it up with Swift Spear. Then we are just going maximum ham. Okay, yep, Cleansing Wildfire to ramp, I like it. I mean, I don't like it that much, but you know what I mean. So, Steel Cutter into Infuriate. Now, this is big enough to survive a Kozilek's return. Iron Crag. Interesting. Yep. So yeah, I do like what they were doing there. It was interesting. So yeah, pretty good 3-0 for Rakdos Prowess there. Not surprising, it's a pretty spicy aggro deck using a powerful new card. Yeah, so the Steel Cutter felt powerful. There were a couple of times where it was a bit dead on board, just because we didn't have the 2 cards in our hand. So I do wonder whether, like, the Is It version of this, where you're kind of doing it has a lot of cantrips and stuff, so you're constantly cycling through cards and almost always playing 2 a turn, might be the sort of better build for a card like this. I mean, there are some powerful elements to this. The ability to just chuck a 7-power creature at your opponent to win out of nowhere. But yeah, it is a primarily red deck, so I think we could easily turn this into an Is It version that would kind of have that. If you're kind of going all in on the steel cutter, then I think that's a pretty good idea. But yeah, powerful. Yeah, as I say, I underestimated this card, partly because I didn't read it properly, and it's very good. So yeah, I like it a lot. So yeah, here's the deck list one more time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.